I mean, and I try not to, like Thane was saying, if you don't include a certain word, it leaves a whole group out. And it's just like, I'm not doing this to leave you out. I'm actually trying to be inclusive.
Yeah.
But if we just keep breaking ourselves down to all these micro sections, after a while, will the whole group still be there? And we're feeling that right now. Right.
I'm really not sure. Yeah. I don't think that if we really start breaking down on how we judge each other, we will eliminate everything. And there was one question in the email that everybody got about the bisexual erasure. And the reality is, if we really had it our way as lesbian women, we would erase that shit. We would erase a whole lot of other stuff too. Like, stop playing. Like, y'all know y'all don't like that. You don't like no bitch going to suck a dick and then come and suck yours. Like, stop.
Yeah, I don't like to do 6 degrees of dick, but I mean, I do think that they do exist. So let's fight.
They do exist.
Okay.
I cannot. Personally, I cannot. I'm going to jail. And it's going to be a whole fucking Lifetime movie. I can't do it.
But see, I'm one of those people, obviously, because what I do, I totally believe in love, and you can't decide who you're going to fall in love with. So even though, no, no, let me take off my earrings. No. But no, I do believe that sometimes you can't help who you fall in love with. And if you just happen to fall in love with somebody that's a bisexual, it could happen. And I'm not saying it's going to happen for everybody, but if that's your person, it could happen. And then what are you going to do?
I think most of us are like sapiosexuals in some form or fashion, like at some point in our lives. Like it's all a spectrum. And that's why I think, and that leads me like to the next question. Like, do we think labels can be dangerous?
It's just like Mo was saying, or I don't know if it was Mo or Fane, but you're saying when I'm identifying who I am, I do want to say that out loud just so that people will know who I am and what I prefer. Yeah. But I do think it's dangerous when we get into the community and we start judging each other because of that label. I do think that's a problem. But I think that
also because of labels, people aren't able to be honest. And I'll give you an example. Like we talk about just asexuals, right?
Okay.
You talk about that realm, and it's like, okay, I find you attractive. I'm digging you. I'm ready to do all the things, but you're asexual. You're not here for it. You're not with the shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, I want you to be honest and say, listen, sis, I'm asexual. Like, there's no transparency and honesty anymore, and that is what creates the problems along the line.
Okay. So we need to be more transparent with what we identify as. What if people don't know?
If you tell me you asexual, listen, the problem is, it's not that people don't know, it's the fact that they don't want to be judged or they don't want to not date because of X, Y, and Z. But you have to be honest with me. Give me the opportunity to tell you absolutely not, I'm not rocking. I'm gonna tell you now, asexual, I can't. Like, there's certain things I cannot do. My mental capacity is not there.
They may not know the actual terms because there's so many terms, but they know how they feel. And it's their obligation to be honest when they start something with somebody.
Okay. So that's important too.
Yeah, it is.
Like, you might not know what to call something, but we certainly know how we feel, and we can find ways to try to communicate that. Because, there are terms that I had no clue even existed. I'm finding out new terms every single day, learning every single day. Do this, don't do this. So we can't shame people for not knowing how to find the exact words.
Absolutely.
But I think, like you all are saying, as long as we're being transparent enough to share how we're feeling about these particular things, or even to say, I don't know how I feel about this in particular. I'm kind of on the rocks about it. Yeah. So,
I don't know. Like, that makes sense. I don't know makes sense. But you just choosing not to be vocal? Mm-mm.
Absolutely. But, again, feeling like we can't be transparent, a lot of that has to do with defensiveness because of the judgment that some of you were touching on that is found within the lesbian community. Yeah. Claiming to be a lesbian is one of those things that once you're stamped, it's like a fucking tattoo. Like, if you do anything different than that, then you're a fucking imposter, and people are just waiting in the cut
for you to go
be like, oh, hell no, it's not a lesbian. I saw her giving J. Paul a dance at the club. Yeah. Like, come on now.
Yeah. It is true. I can talk because I identify as a lesbian, and I have 3 grown adult children. I'm calling them kids because they're adults. They're 20s. But people do be like, "You got kids?
Mm-hmm.
That's you're not a lesbian."
Yeah, I get that.
And then you have lesbians that be like, "Well, I never had a man." Okay, what's that got to do with it?
Ain't that what they call that? Gold star lesbians? Gold star lesbians. Yo, can we talk about
they up me, and I'm just like, I lived the life. I was married once, and that was it. That as I can explain. What do you want me to do? Right. That was my life. What do you want?
Life happens, and you're unapologetic about it. But listen,
So
I've been wanting to talk about this for a minute. The gold star lesbian thing. Like back when I was watching the L Word, it was something I was like, that's a new terminology. Because I was just figuring myself out too, and being lesbian and all that. I was like a fledgling in the lesbianhood and all of that. So I learned gold star from the L Word. It's the first time I encountered that terminology. And at the time, I hadn't really been in the community and like really learned and evolved, with just anything under the sun that comes with the LGBTQ community. I hadn't learned a lot. I was new to it. Right. So as I began to develop and I started thinking about this terminology of being a gold star, it's almost like a gold star, you think of a badge. You're wearing a badge. You are better than me or all of the lesbians somehow because you've never taken dick.
It's the same equivalent of it's the same equivalent of a woman being a virgin and people putting her on a pedestal for it. And
I love that. Yes.
Yeah. But to me,
let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. The first dick I ever sucked was a man's, okay? But the best dick that I ever sucked was a woman's. Like, stop playing with me.
To me, a gold star is a woman. To me, is a woman who knew who they were. Like they found themselves in the beginning, and I think that's beautiful. I think that's beautiful. But I found myself later on in life, but that doesn't make me less.
It does not. I learned what I like to suck later on in life. It's okay.
Can we get back to the? Yeah, I want to talk about the strap dick sucking. I had a girl tell me that she was really worried. She thought that like I was like I needed dick to suck because of the way that I sucked her strap. I'm like, are you fucking serious? I'm like, I was like joking and stuff like that. Like,
what are you talking about?
Like, and it's crazy how the things that we love that sexually gratify us have to be genderized in some way. You know what I mean?
It should not be.
Right.
It should not be. Like, let me tell you something. Like, there's nothing that gives me more gratification than fucking like off the person that like you walk around here. If you walk around and you are the king of this household, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you don't have to be a man to be a king. Like, you are the king of this household.
Right.
I watch your mannerisms. I watch how you talk, how you move, all the things. If you know I was about to suck your dick, like, what am I supposed to do? Put it out. Like,
what am I supposed to do?
Because I feel like people deserve it, and like, you can't start to genderize that shit. Like that makes no sense. You got niggas out here with little dicks that don't need their dick sucked. Like, what are you doing? Like, play with that by yourself.
No, Ashley.
No,
they can get their dick sucked too.
Okay, well, it's not for me.
Yo, all the real lesbians in the room, quiet right now.
Not for me.
We imposters.
Listen.
Ayana.
Yes, let's hear from Ayana. Let's hear from Ayana. What you got?
I mean,
Ayana, how do you feel being a lesbian? How do you feel how people do judge you? Do they consider you a lesbian?
Well, it's annoying because I don't know why I do this, but most of my friends are straight guys, and for some odd reason, like, they automatically assume I'm bisexual, or that, like, I don't know, it's just like me getting way too drunk until it finally happens. And it's a little odd just because I don't know, it's like I haven't slept with any guys since I've met them, or honestly since probably like 2012. So like, why would it happen, like, anytime soon? But I don't know.
You just like to turn up. Is that what it is?
Exactly.
Yeah, you like to turn up. You probably get a little flirtatious when you turn up. It's okay. It's
that
right.
should be a new label. I turn up.
Normalize turning up. Yes. Yes. Listen, all my best friends are like gay males, like gay Black men. And listen, like I get drunk sometimes and I look up and they be rubbing my feet. Like, but we're not fucking fun. We're not fucking no, like absolutely not. Ew, that's nasty. But it doesn't mean that it's because that you identify as a certain sexuality or who you are, it doesn't mean that you're still not human. You know, we still humanly gravitate towards men sometimes because although you may be a lesbian and strong in your shit, men still have a certain glue. Like they help us piece things together. Like it doesn't mean that we don't work collectively.
Is it men or is it just who that person is, that person that you're attracted to?
I could be attracted to anybody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm more supposed to specifically talking about is just about men, as far as it's okay to love a Black man and to like have that counterpart, that friend, that confidant, because at the end of the day, although we may be lesbians, we still need Black men and vice versa.
We definitely do.
They can't operate without us and
absolutely.
vice versa.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I don't date men. I don't date men, but I definitely, they all have an important part. We all have an important part in this universe. So I hate that label where they think that all lesbians hate men and they want to get rid of men and all that stuff. That's not what's happening. When I had feelings for a girl when I was 5, it wasn't because I wanted to destroy the world of men. I just thought it was cute,
Oh, baby. I was in Macy's underneath the fucking dressing room looking at white women in Macy's, okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nasty.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Always been there.
Yes.
White women in Macy's. I know your flavor.
I don't know.
We're gonna go shopping, girl.
But no, we still need men. As much as we, claim our sexuality, claim who we are, we claim our pussies, all the things, we still need men. Like men make sense in our lives. They make sense.
And we need somebody to change the tires when they go flat.
Makes sense. No, not one person or group of people does not have a purpose in the world or the existence of humanity for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, like, taking it back, I would definitely agree with what Sean has started to say. Like, it's the person. So it's more so, I think we as individuals have different needs for different types of energy, right? So even though I'm a lesbian, I still gravitate towards masculine energy the same way I gravitate towards feminine energy, but in different ways. And that's different for each person. It's not necessarily for me about needing a man. If that's what it is, for you in particular, and that's what you have, embodied as something that you need, I'm all for it. But for me personally, it's just, I love certain characteristics of masculinity.
Just my friendships. That's all.
What happened?
I said just my friendships, not dating, because
just people in general, honestly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for me, like, because even if we're talking about like sexuality, like it doesn't even have to be a sexual thing per se. I just think we have different energies that we gravitate towards.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And some people do not fuck with the whole masculine energy. They need to be the masculine energy. So it's just like different for everyone.
I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't trust it.
Different for everyone.
I don't trust it. It just is what it is. Some people just embody that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right, sis. You're absolutely right.
So, all right. When did you all decide to identify as a lesbian? Why did you choose that particular word?
When I can start. I mean, I'm 42 years old, and when at my time when you came out, like you hang with a certain amount of people, they're the ones creating you. You get it? They're the ones telling you this is what you are. You're aggressive, you're a stud, you're a lesbian. So that's how, like,
you're a dyke.
You know, yeah, nah, I ain't like that word. That word was a curse word back in the day.
We're gonna talk about that word too.
Yeah, that was a curse word.
It
And
still
somebody said
is.
to you, it wasn't in a good way. It was to harm you.
Yes.
It was something bad was gonna happen after that word. It was never gonna be a good thing.
Right.
But
yeah, so let's definitely talk about the involvement of that then. Because now we have a lot of people, you know, I even make t-shirts with the acronym for dyke on there, which is dildos, Yahtzee, kissing, everything. If just in case you wanted to know.
I know everything. Yes.
But that word has definitely evolved. I remember I had posted something about myself being a dyke. I was referring to myself as being a dyke. And someone really took offense to it, which what you personally take offense to, that's your business. You know what I mean? But they were like, don't use that word. You know, that's an oppressive word. People have used that to harm me. But I'm like, you know what? People have used that to harm me too. But I chose to repurpose it and call myself that. And I don't give a fuck what people call me. You know what I mean? Like, we give power to words. You know, the same way when we talk about the N-word, we give power to that, but that's someone's choice to be offended or not be offended by it, right? So once we start using it amongst ourselves in our communities, that kind of like changes the meaning. Someone outside the community could never fucking say that to me.
Right.
Let a white boy say that shit to me. It's gonna be a problem. You know what I mean? But
I think it's like the N-word, it was a word that derived from like something that was derogatory. You know what I'm saying? It was never a positive word. And so just like the N-word, we took it, we owned it, we made it our own in some, you know, retrospect. Some people still don't harp on. But I think that's the same type of word. Me personally, I'm nasty as fuck. Like I'm free spirited. But that word right there, like you can call me anything, but like that there's something about that word I just can't all the way get with.
You don't fuck with it.
And there's a lot of people like that, but then it's okay because I am friends with people that are part of the Dyke March. So that's their thing.
And that's the thing.
It's up to you. But for me, it's like
I'm a hoe. I'm a whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm out here. Like I identify with the slut march, all the things. It's just that particular word for me. Like, and I think because I spent more time being Black than I have as a lesbian. And so that word has kind of hit home closest the most. You know what I mean? Like I was born Black. I was born, you know, quote unquote, the N-word. I learned and I embraced my sexuality, and that was something that was different. And so when I hear people use that word in a derogatory sense, it takes something out of the enjoyment. Now I don't get to enjoy what I'm doing at this moment because now I feel like I'm on defense mode.
I feel you.